Yo, Joe! No, Joe. I'm going back to my own franchise. Ooh, Cobra! Okay, people, welcome back to another Fwoosh review. Today we're taking a look at the Hasbro G.I.Joe classified series Duke. These were revealed at this year's Toy Fair, which seems like so long ago, but it was only 2 months, I think. And like most everybody else, when I first looked at them, I thought, oh, what's all the armor bits and stuff? But as time has gone on, and well, even at the show, I thought, well, there's a lot of details that are classic, and then there's updated parts, and then there's modern, and it's kind of a mix. And I've come around to accepting that, man, 6-inch G.I. Joes, even with modern flourishes, I got excited, okay? That's why I have this right now, because of excitement. But besides Snake Eyes and Destro, both of which are just 80s goodness personified, Duke was the other one I was most excited about because he's the baseline, you know what I mean? Roadblock should be bigger, Scarlett should be smaller. Duke will give us an idea of the compatibility of this line with other lines, or those of you who are wanting to do customs, or what we may see in future waves. Just, I don't know, Duke is the everyman. Plus it's Duke. Yeah. Looking at the package, it's kind of what we saw with the Snake Eyes from the Hasbro Pulse exclusive deluxe version, except this one is much more colorful, of course. It's got the blues, it's got the G.I. Joe logo, it's got this artwork here on the front, and then of course the window where you see everything. I don't think there's anything hidden back there. On the side, a little bit more artwork of Duke. He's punching the hell out of Cobra Commander, and then looking all stoic. On the back, they're using this as a generic background, and then we got posters and what we may see in the future of the line. On the side, just these designs. I'm assuming they have something to do with Duke. He's number 4 in the line. On the top, the star, the 4. On the bottom, all your legalese, your barcode. But I'm gonna get this open. See what's going on here. Fight for freedom wherever there's trouble. G.I. Joe is there. Yep, many languages. Don't put them in your mouth. Is an insert that folds out. It's got the sidebar. Oh yeah, because that window goes around. I didn't even realize that. G.I. Joe will return in a moment. Oh, and out of the package, all my doubts that I had about the modernization here is gone. It's bye-bye. Now that I have it in hand, I'm looking at it in person, I'm feeling everything, I'm looking at it. It's just too good. Right off the bat, just like Snake Eyes, it's got separate parts that are kind of hanging on the figure. And while I've taken all these pictures and messed around with it without taking this off, I'm going to do that now, just to get it out of the way so we can look at the figure itself. Bandolier coming around, it's nicely sculpted. It has pouches and little clasps and this, whatever the hell this thing is up here. That has some silver, some blue, a touch of gold. Get around to the back, it's just more pouches running all the way down. No hole for the backpack, which I don't know, we'll get to in a second. Same thing for the belt. You have some silver, you have some energy blue, touch of gold right on top of the silver, then the green pouches going all the way around. And then there's the holster on the side. Same green material, rubbery. You can slide it up and down wherever you want. It hides the thigh articulation pretty nicely. There's a buckle right here on the front. The webbing detail is awesome on the strap, but as many colors as we'll see when we look at the figure, when it comes to these add-on parts, I wish they had added like some kind of silver to the little buttons on each of the pouches, or a little dirtiness, something to break up the green. But we're going to do this. It slips right over the head, not a problem at all. You can slide this down too. It gets a little tight right here, but honestly, where it is, it's not really in the way. So I'm going to leave that on for the moment. Just know that you can slide it off. Same with the belt. I don't really see where they've attached it. Like Snake Eyes, I think they put the figure together with the belt on it. That's the only thing I can think of here. Or you can just slice it off, whatever. But getting that out of the way, we get a nice uniform look up here. We get Duke's trademark rolled up sleeves. Even get a little veining on the skin right there. See it? Very nice wrinkling to the shirt overall. There's even piping for the seams. Has the wings up here on the chest. Red epaulets. The red kind of ties down to the gloves, which, I don't know, looking at it overall, it doesn't really stick out at me. Just a regular shirt on the back. Nothing on this elbow, but he does have a kind of a metal pad on this elbow. Again, silver, blue. And I guess that's for resting his arm when he's aiming a rifle or something. I'm not quite sure. Same thing with the pants. You get this beautiful texture sculpted in. Again, seam lines to separate the colors, or this padding. It's more of a smoother texture. It's here and here on the outside, but it's just done so well. Coming around the knee, wrinkles coming down, there's your texture. Boots, again, I'd kind of like to see the laces painted a different color, or even, what are the holes called? Just a metal look to those. But the texture looks fantastic between the smoothness of the toe and the heel. And then for the armor bits down here on the legs, you have the knee pads, you have the shin guards, and the more I look at this, the same thing I said for Destro, the more 80s it looks, but this is what just rips you into modern times. The knee pads are the knee sculpt itself, but you get to the shin guards, and that's not sculpted all the way down. There is a boot swivel that has that shin guard attached to the boot itself. So if you wanted to switch this out, you'd have pants all the way to the boot. Or it is a nice rubbery piece, and you can almost see, I don't know, I don't think there's sculpt behind it. I think it's just glued to a flat part. But if you wanted to cut that off and add like detail to it, although these straps are coming around. At this point, there's probably replacement boots out there somewhere if you wanted to replace this. You'd still have the knees, which, no, see, it's growing on me as I mess with it. There's also Killmonger pants, which, yeah, that's about the same height. That'd require painting though. Up at the head, look at that. That's Duke. I mean, overall, the head may be slightly large, but I think I'm used to action figure proportions where they make the head a little bit smaller to make it seem more buff. This is almost closer to real human proportions. I'm not quite sure. It's hard to tell if the eyes and the lips are printed on, but either way, they're done really nice. And if it is there, it's not noticeable in person. Have the scar on the eye that I think is a throwback to G.I. Joe before it was Real American Hero, back to the 12-inch cloth clothing days. The hair nicely sculpted on top, not too long. It's shaved around the sides. It has a nice yellowish color for that cartoon blonde, and then it has a wash to bring out all that detail. I really, really like this. Now, like I've mentioned before several times in weeklies or the run-up to these actually releasing, I've come around to the actual design. It's only the gold color for some reason that sticks out at me. I'm even okay with this neon repulsor ray blue in certain points all over, but the gold just stands out. And not so much maybe with Duke because of the color of his shirt, but that seems to be a running theme with at least Roadblock, Scarlett, and Duke. Okay, perfect world, I probably wouldn't have the orange or the red either. I don't know. It's growing on me as I'm messing with it. And it also makes me want to get Scarlett and Roadblock to see what they all, at least in person, what they all seem like together. Going over articulation, there is, I think, a ball at the top of the neck with a hinge up in there, but then there's a ball joint at the bottom of the neck too. And because of the ball joint, it's a little bit hard to manipulate. I think that hinge is tight as hell. So you got to go back and then kind of force the hinge back. That allows good up, good down. Not a lot of room there, so no tilt at the top, but because of the ball joint at the bottom of the neck, and of course that swivels. Butterfly at the shoulder comes forward and back. Not the greatest range of movement, but allows for posing. On the outside of that, a hinge and swivel at the shoulder comes up all the way around. Bicep at the swivel. Swivel at the bicep. Double elbow has some wrinkle sculpt around it, and then that cuff right below, so it gets in the way just a little bit, but still past 90. Hinge at the wrist. Yes, it is side to side with a trigger finger, but there's a reason for that. And then swivel. Hinge at the abdomen comes forward, arcs back, but then there's a ball joint at the waist too, so that comes forward too. You can click this all the way and then all the way back. And that allows for a little bit of tilt. It's not the best range. I don't think it's as much as Snake Eyes, but it's extra movement. The hips have a drop down to them, and that allows the ball joint there to come up past 90. Also back, look at that. Yeah, that's all the way out. Bring it back down, shift back up. You can also alter his height a little bit like that if you want him just a little bit taller. There is a swivel at the thigh. Double knee, bing! Not a problem at all. A swivel at the top of the boot. Hinge at the ankle goes back, goes forward, but it runs into that shin guard. And then forward-facing pin for rocker. For accessories, Duke comes with a backpack. Very nice sculpted detail to the whole thing, but just like the straps, the belt, the holster, the green is just a little bit plain. It's a very nice color, and they did paint the shovel in, but the canteens, maybe the lid, maybe the snaps on that. There's a couple buckles, couple straps that could have just, just a little bit of color. It's not a deal breaker, but you know, all these colors on the figure, just a couple more here. And of course that plugs directly into the back. Like I talked about a minute ago, that strap does not have a hole in it, but once you plug the backpack in, it does kind of press against it and hold it in place. That way it's not flying around near as much. It's still loose, but it stays down. But I have noticed it does hold the backpack off the back just a little bit. He comes with a pair of binoculars, and this picture shows the detail, but it's hard to tell what it actually is. It's just cast in a dark gray plastic. You look in, you see out. A bit hard to get in his hands, but it can be done. But you remember the hole on the back? There is a mushroom peg on the back of the binoculars. They plug in, and that is very secure. It holds really well. That's probably where they'll stay for the rest of their life. Comes with a small pistol, a nice detail to it. Again, it's kind of futuristic laser bang bang gun, but like I've said several times, back to the original cartoon, they shot laser guns, so this doesn't bother me as much as it probably should. It does have kind of a realistic feel to it. The left hand also has a trigger finger, and it is hinged up and down. And then, of course, it fits in the holster. And then he has this rifle. Again, it's kind of a split between a real-world gun and a laser gun. It's got the blue on the end, but I don't know. This kind of evokes his original weapon back in the 3 3/4 inch days, I think, at some point. And the rifle is the reason for the side-to-side hinge on the right hand. That's so he can get his arm up and it can kick back and almost get the stock on his shoulder. And then the left hand being up and down hinge fits nicely on this front grip. It's not bad at all, you know? Unfortunately, there's no peg, there's no hole, well, there's no peg on the backpack either. There's nowhere to store this when he's not holding it. But I think of this as his primary weapon. He's probably going to hold it in his hands anyway. And I think all those accessories together is pretty much what the version 1 G.I. Joe Duke had, except for the helmet. And I understand why they didn't do that. It wouldn't fit on right with this hair sculpt. Alternate head? Or maybe future release of this same character. Duke stands at about 6 3/16 inches tall. Puts him slightly taller than Snake Eyes, which is correct, I believe. And here he is next to a couple of customs or stand-ins for the moment. Here's the Fortnite Havoc, or my custom Firefly. I switched out the eyes on him. And then the articulated icons White Deluxe Ninja. Here's the Marvel Legends Gamerverse Captain America that just came out. And then the Black Panther movie Killmonger. But it does fit in fairly well with the Hasbro Star Wars Black Series Stormtrooper and then the Marvel Legends Black Panther. So at the end of the day, I am so down the rabbit hole with this line. I can't even. I can understand people not liking the modernization here, but once you have it in hand, or I don't know, I can't explain it. I was at Toy Fair, I saw them, I was like, what? Wait, what's happening there? But as time has went on, and I've seen the rest of the wave, and I kind of picture in my head what they all look like, and now having this in hand, and seeing how awesome both Snake Eyes and Duke are, that doesn't even bother me. The gold in person is not nearly as bright as it is in the promotional images. And overall, the figure is a bit realistic, but it's still cartoony, but still comic booky, heroically proportioned, but not overly muscled. This is a military dude that kicks some ass. So yeah, I'm in. These figures should be hitting within the next month. I think I saw a case that said hold until June 1st. But now that I have them in hand, I'm all in. I'm done. I have a case on pre-order. I'm hoping that comes fairly quickly because I can't stand it. Well, actually, I've already started checking off the stuff I'm not going to buy because I'm going to be buying G.I. Joe. That's how into this I am now. G.I. Joe! So if you like the review, comment, like, subscribe. Much love to the plus. If you're interested in seeing videos early or just in a position to help out the channel, patreon.com. But wherever you may be watching this, I'll catch you on the Fwoosh. Now you know, and knowing's half the battle. Yo, Joe!